Hello, everybody, and welcome to this mini series that is talking about 5 steps to leaving a toxic environment. So, this video is an overview video, and then I'll be following up with the different steps. I'll go through each one individually and kind of delve in a little bit more. But I'm glad you're here and welcome. And I hope that this is going to be super duper useful for you. Feel free to share this as well, because even if this might not directly be pertaining to you, it just might be in general helpful to someone you know that might need it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Step 1 is what I call the realization stage. So this is you being able to recognize what you're feeling and what you're actually experiencing. And you want to be able to leave out the quote unquote backstory, right? The reasons for why this might be happening. And again, I'm going to get into it a little bit more on the step 1 video. But an example of what the backstory is, say if you were dealing with somebody, whether it be a friend or a boyfriend, girlfriend, or I don't know, you insert X person, a relative, you're not going to accept the whole idea of, well, how were they raised, or reasons why they would treat you a certain way. But just being able to recognize and realize that objectively you're not being treated well, and objectively you don't feel well, whether it's mentally, whether it's even impacted you physically, because the longer you stay in certain situations, the more it starts to impact your body. But again, we'll talk about that more in the step 1 video. So we want to be able to sit down and assess, what is my experience right now? Realization. Step 2 is agreeing with change. So what does this actually mean? So once you're able to realize everything objectively, then you must make a decision now and say, this is not acceptable, right? And I think a lot of people know that when they're dealing with negativity or toxicity, that it isn't okay, but for some reason we still stay, right? So in order to propel you forward, you must not only realize and recognize, but you now have to say in your mind, this is not okay, and something got to give, something's got to shake out here. All right, so that is your second step. The third step would be visualizing, right? So what would the new circumstance look like for you? You have now made up your mind and said, I don't like this, it's not healthy for me, and it's not okay. But now, what is quote unquote okay for you? What is your ideal circumstance? What are your goals? What is it that you want to do? So taking time to really visualize and thinking to yourself, what does happiness actually look like for me? All right, so that's your third step, just so that as you make this move, you're not directionless, okay? The fourth step is coming up with the game plan. So this attaches very, very closely with the third step, in the same way where it's like, you don't want to be reckless and you don't want to just be moving without any sort of direction. So the game plan is your map. It's what you'll need to figure out next steps. If I'm going to leave, where will I go? If I'm, because your life is going to continue after this, and you're going to have to figure out what you'll do. So the game plan is what happens next, and what are the practicals for you to actually exit. Now, the game plan part, sometimes you might need counsel. So there's some people where, if you've been in a situation long enough, you probably contemplated your exit, but you just never acted on it. So there's some people who, like, they know, and now if you're at a point where you're actually realizing, like, I can't take this anymore, and you're ready, then you already have something, you had it thought out, and you'll just go ahead. Now there's another category of people that they know that they have been struggling for a very long time. They are now at I guess you could say, a breaking point, but they might not necessarily be sure exactly how to do it. A lot of this stuff is, easier said than done, right? So you might need someone to kind of come together with you and workshop it a bit. And so that you can figure out what are your resources, where is your help, or even if it's not necessarily about them helping you with a step by step that could work for you, it's really just good to have people who will validate you, because in these certain situations, you know, in your environment, you might get gaslit. They might try to, people might try to tell you like you're forcing it, you don't know what you're talking about, and they'll try to distort your reality. And so just so that you don't get tricked, it's good to actually just have good community and people who support you, and people, when you share with them what your experience is, they're able to say, you know what, yeah, like that's not healthy. I don't think that you should do that. And I think you need to like move on, because this is not good. So sometimes just having somebody or people who will validate you just to let you know you're not crazy is also part of step 4. And then the very last step, which is step 5, is simply implementing it, right? So going full force with it. Again, not tricking yourself outside of the process. Whatever you have come up with, you're going to go ahead and do it, and you'll dismiss all of the whatever comes next, because exiting, when you decide that you want to exit, wherever you're leaving, those people might not be a fan of it, right? So it's going to be a bit of a battle, and you have to be ready to brave that storm as well. So these are the 5 steps that I'll leave you with. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. If you have any comments or anything that you would personally like to add, I'd love to hear from you as well. You can go ahead and see just my information in the description box if you're looking for ways to just be able to contact me and reach out to me, just access to any of my other socials. I also do have a book that I released, as well as a project I'm working on, that I've designed rather, and I'm preparing to take people into this program. So all these different things, along with my email list. Oh goodness, that's a lot. Okay, I don't want to overwhelm you, but it's all going to be in the description if you want to check some of those things out. But I hope that you like this intro video. Stick along with me, because again, this is a mini series and we're going to go into each and every step in depth. So till next time, I will see you.